you made a comment about how you was one of the few rappers that never sold their soul. What made you say that?
Because I know majority of these rappers. Yeah. I know what be going on behind the scenes. I know who not really in control.
Yeah, it's like, man, who is the new street rapper that we could sign that's gonna impact the masses in their city, and we gonna blow them up, and they young, so they don't realize that they being used right now, you heard me? They don't realize it. We gonna make them rich, and we gonna get one from every major city, because that way we can make sure that they give birth to a whole bunch of mini-me's that's looking up to them.
You know, a lot of times people be blinded by what they see in these videos and on TV, but I just know, I know what I know, man. You know what I mean?
Welcome back to Fame Drop, y'all. You've heard the quiet talk in barbershops, seen careers skyrocket out of nowhere, and watched artists flip their whole image overnight. But now, someone who actually lived through it just cracked the silence wide open. Lil Flip, the Houston legend who stacked millions on his own before ever touching a major label, just dropped a bombshell that's shaking the whole game. He claimed most of these rappers have straight up sold their souls, and what they wanted him to do will seriously mess with your head. They even tried to send people to his home for some kind of spiritual cleansing, like this was a movie or something. But that's just the surface. Other artists are now spilling the tea about these so-called gatekeepers and the real price behind that shiny mainstream fame. Something dark is moving in the shadows of the music industry, and fans barely even notice it. While everyone's caught up watching designer fits, viral beefs, and luxury music videos, this Houston legend just exposed a truth that's way too real.
Be going on behind the scenes. I know who not really in control. You know what I mean? I know the real. You know, a lot of times people be blinded by what they see in these videos and on TV, but I just know, I know what I know, man. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people that ain't being righteous, and they ain't keeping it infinity, because keeping it 100 ain't enough. That's a limit. You go with me, you got to keep it infinity. So it's just a lot of people, man, that's just, you know, selling their soul and selling themselves short and distracted with the wrong things. So, you know, it is what it is, man. This industry is a very evil industry. You know what I mean? Like it's very evil, man. So you got to really surround yourself with people that think like you or bigger than you. So it's a nice amount of, I ain't gonna even say nice. There's a lot of rappers that sold their soul, and you know, they let money dictate everything they do. They value money more than they value humans. I ain't participating in no bullshit. If it ain't righteous, I don't want to be a part of it, man. I'm not gonna snake my people, and yeah, I ain't gonna snake my people, and yeah, I can't sell my people out, and I ain't gonna sell myself out. Fame ain't that important, man, for me to just do anything. It's cool. I'm used to the attention.
The man who moved over 25 million albums without ever bowing to a major label just dropped a truth so chilling it'll freeze your veins. According to this Houston icon, most of the rappers lighting up your screens have made a trade that's straight up unthinkable. They didn't just give up publishing rights or creative freedom. They gave away something priceless, something no deal can ever buy back. And the cost? Betraying everything they once stood for. That's what really sends a shiver down your spine. Flip ain't guessing. He knows these artists personally. He's seen the change with his own eyes, watching bright, creative people turn into hollow versions of who they used to be. This industry isn't just shady or greedy, it's got a darkness that runs deep. And what's worse, the ones caught in its grip aren't innocent anymore. They've crossed over into something way more twisted. No longer victims, but willing players in a game that feeds off corruption. These aren't hungry artists chasing their dreams. These are people trading their souls for spotlight, fame, and a seat at a poisoned table. Meanwhile, Flip stood firm, refusing to touch anything that felt unrighteous. But countless others said yes to deals that would make your stomach turn. So who's really pulling the strings here? Who decides who gets the call? The ones behind it all aren't random power players. They move with precision, like a secret unit, studying their next targets like scientists studying test subjects. It's deeper than anyone wants to admit.
Once you influence you, then you're an asset to them, right? So once you understand your value position, right? Like you could be an independent guy, putting work in, and get to a point where you're good enough for them to purchase your soul. right? And when you see, there's no artist, let me be clear, there's no artist in this industry that's doing major numbers with these platforms that haven't sold their soul. And when you know what you're looking at and you know how to decipher, you will see it. And the people like the brother right here who has this merch and is doing it out the trunk and direct to consumer, you will never get to that $20 million club without going through certain doors.
So now I gotta ask this question.
So E40 didn't do it.
Hold on. No, I gotta ask this question. Do you guys believe that the rappers that are at the top sold their soul?
Yes.
Nope.
Somehow.
Yes.
They only come for artists once they've spotted raw talent mixed with desperation. These people move in silence, studying up-and-coming musicians like hunters tracking prey. For months, they watch from the background, taking notes on everything, every slip, every late bill, every tear behind closed doors. They keep a record of it all, the financial stress, the personal struggles, the broken trust, waiting for the perfect moment to strike when the artist is too tired, too broke, or too lost to fight back.
Yes. Industry plans exist, yes. The music industry will conspire to say, what this artist represents is something that we need more of in America. So if it's extreme ignorance, if it's watered down blackness, if it's whiteness that represents being able to be cool and be accepted by black people, whatever it is, we want more of that. So we will do everything in our power to make this person pop off and be a star, to push this agenda. Or we have a vested interest financially in seeing this artist make it. Because not only do we have this artist signed to us, but we manage this artist and we know that this artist is gonna create a whole generation of people just like them. Yeah, they definitely got industry plans. Yes, all of these black artists who ain't even old enough to understand the contract that they about to sign and who are being signed just because they had one thing that went viral, that they glorifying a bunch of murder and a bunch of just negativity, and all of a sudden they about to get paid millions of dollars. Those are industry plants. The industry knows the impact that those artists will have on the rest of their community. They know it. And they're just like, oh man, we need that person to make it for sure. But if you are representing something positive or something righteous or something intellectual or godly, you absolutely have to do way more work to make the industry say, all right, we're gonna let them in. It's like, all right, we're gonna let a J. Cole in. We're gonna let a Kendrick Lamar in, but we got enough. We got enough of them. You know what I'm saying? We got enough of them. You realize that J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar are two of the richest rappers walking planet Earth today? Two of the most successful rappers? Why would the industry not want more J. Cole's and more Kendrick Lamar's?
Yeah, they don't even floss or anything, bro. You don't see them with jewelry, none of that.
Bro, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar scare the industry because if they let more of them in, you're gonna have a whole generation of people coming up who are black, who are saying, I ain't even gotta flaunt no jewelry, you heard me? I ain't even gotta flaunt fancy cars, and I can be intellectual, I can be woke, I can be a man of God.
Or rap about it.
Or rap about that stuff. And if you got a whole generation of black people that's coming up, that's like, man, there wasn't one J. Cole and one Kendrick Lamar. There were a ton of them, and they were all huge. Now, keep in mind, a ton of people exist who are doing the same type of work that Cole and Kendrick are doing, and they're doing that work in their own way. I'm one of the people, you know, and there's a bunch of people that are doing that. But for the mainstream music industry, man, they don't want a bunch of that to exist, bro. Like, it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't want more of that.
The recruitment machine doesn't chase every artist. It targets the ones hurting the most, especially desperate black artists who've been pushed into corners with nowhere to run. Why? Because desperation makes people say yes to things they'd never dream of agreeing to. It's twisted but calculated. Notice how they never come for artists who already made it on their own, like Lil Flip, the ones who got money, control, and independence. They're not about to risk exposure by trying to manipulate someone who can't be bought. Instead, they hover around struggling musicians drowning in debt, the ones who've been grinding for years with nothing to show but heartbreak and rejection. These are real talents, gifted people whose confidence has been slowly shattered until they start doubting their own worth. See, the system doesn't just find desperation, it creates it. It breaks artists down piece by piece, then swoops in pretending to offer salvation. But when these powerful figures finally make their move, what they ask for is nothing short of shocking. Their requests aren't business deals, they're moral traps, the kind that twist your spirit and strip your integrity bare. And once you hear what they asked of certain respected artists, you'll never look at the entertainment world the same way again. Because when those gatekeepers came knocking, the demands they made weren't just wrong, they were unthinkable.
No.
Have you ever been approached to do anything out of pocket?
I've been approached to have somebody come to my house and pray. And yeah, like, hey man, this guy, yeah, he's like he gets spirits out, and you know, he wants to come and pray. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I want to continue to pray the way I've been praying. I don't know who he believe in and what he believe in, but he can't come in my house. So, yeah, peace. I kept God in what I got going on. I kept God. I keep God in what I got going on. I don't love money. I talk for myself. I come from a family that programmed me and trained me to be out in this world and out in the streets and knowing how to maneuver. So you can't lure me with no money or nothing like that. Like, meaning like, if I don't want to do the deal, I ain't gonna do the deal. The difference between me and a lot of artists is I started doing music for God. My grandmother played the piano. I was in the church. I sung in the choir, played the drums, played the piano, sung in the choir for God, went to different churches and sung here and there, right? For God, doing music in the studios, making gospel music, making hip hop. But I started off doing music for God. So I'm not gonna let money dictate every move I make when it comes to music. It's a blessing for me to be able to create. The money is gonna come. So I just pride myself in treating people right, and relationships outlast money. So you treat people right and you move the correct way, you'll have longevity. So for any artist or anybody that's a hater or just a fan or whatever you are, if you feel like some of your favorite artists fell off, sometimes you gotta just go take a trip down there and link up with them and see how they living. Cause I can speak for the artists that's in Texas. We still getting money, we still working, we still touring. We not broadcasting everything we do.
Lil Flip just dropped something straight up chilling. He revealed that industry operatives actually tried to invade his personal space, his own home, like they own the right to step into his life. They came under the disguise of offering spiritual cleansing, but it wasn't real guidance or faith-driven help. It was something dark, twisted, and completely off the rails. Flip said they wanted to perform what he called demonic rituals right inside his house. Can you even imagine the nerve it takes to approach a self-made independent artist and claim he needs some kind of spiritual intervention from their hand-picked people? That's wild. It's like they were testing him, seeing if they could break through his peace and control. But that wasn't even the worst of it. What other artists were asked to do makes Flip's story sound almost tame. The deeper you look, the more disturbing it gets. The demands didn't just get weird, they got darker, nastier, and straight up inhuman.
Yeah, depending on what part of the industry you're trying to get access to, there's gatekeepers. So if you're trying to get signed to a major label, there's gatekeepers. If you're trying to get on certain media platforms to get interviewed, there's gatekeepers. If you're trying to get on the mainstream radio, you heard me, urban radio, there's gatekeepers. Yes. On the totem pole of people with integrity and people with morals, values, and principles, these gatekeepers ain't nobody. But in this perverted, sick, twisted industry, these gatekeepers do hold access to certain levels, you know? Bro, I've had gatekeepers in the music industry who have literally tried to hold a record deal behind their back and let me know, like, look, if you're a part of this homosexual act that I'm trying to take part in, you hear me? Yeah, come on, this door open real quick for you. Like, I got a song where I've talked about that before called The Devil's Playground. Like, this is real, dog. And the only way that that type of stuff can work on you is if you let them have all the leverage to where you want what's behind that gate that bad. So that's a real thing. You also got people who, this a different type of gatekeeper. The gatekeepers who will say, hey, you making too much righteous noise right now. If you just tone that righteousness down a little bit, then we'll allow you into these doors. But you gotta tone that down. You gotta become a little more vanilla, you heard me? A little more lukewarm, a little more bland, and you'll fit in with us more. So that's the slick gatekeeping. It ain't telling you, it ain't telling you to all the way, bend over or open your mouth or something like that. It ain't that, but it's telling you, like, dim your light. And what ends up happening is you got so many people that's like, well, that's not that bad. They not asking me to do nothing super crazy. I just gotta dim my light. That's the scariest kind right there. Cause a lot of people will be like, wait, I just gotta turn it from level 10 to level 5? Man, bet, I could do that, bro. I bet. Now I get accepted? Cool. Next thing you know, you got a whole industry, brother, that's lukewarm. Whole industry lukewarm. So that when somebody that's on fire come along, they looking at it like, whoa, you crazy, hold on, you shining too bright, hold on.
D1, another conscious rapper, just exposed one of the most disturbing recruitment tactics the industry's ever pulled. He said the so-called gatekeepers didn't just hint or suggest. They literally offered him record deals in exchange for doing things no self-respecting person should ever be asked to do. This wasn't a metaphor or some symbolic initiation. It was real. Physical compromise, traded like currency for fame and power. They dangled everything struggling artists dream of. Big label deals, radio spins, award show invites, all wrapped behind acts that would crush a person's pride forever. The whole method preys on ambition. It only works when someone wants success so bad they'll silence their own conscience. When the hunger for fame drowns out that inner voice saying, "This ain't right," that's when they strike. But here's where it gets even sicker. These aren't random events. This is a whole system built on exploitation. It's organized, deliberate, and spreading across the entire industry. They target desperate talent, pushing them step by step into more degrading situations until somebody finally breaks. Both Flip and D1 stood tall and said no. But that only leads to one haunting question. How many others said yes? And for the ones who refuse, the punishment hits fast and hard. The retaliation is cold, calculated, and cruel. Because this industry doesn't just take rejection lightly. It destroys those who won't play by its dark rules.
When you said that 99% of the rappers in the industry is fake?
Yeah, when it comes to artists, yeah, but the people that I've encountered, see, I can't speak on the people that I haven't met. So when I said that, I'm speaking on 99% of the artists that I've met. They've done funny and said they was gonna do this and didn't do that, and then God will put them like right around me, like, you know what I mean? And instead of me being like bitter because somebody promised me, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this for you, I just be like, all right, I just put you in my book as a liar. You know what I mean? Because there's people that'll see you in public. I call it Hollywood talk. Hey, what's up, bro, man? I'm a fan of your music, man. We got to do something, man. Here, take my number. So you take their number, they don't answer. You know what I mean? They don't answer, but they might do an interview and be like, yeah, Flip, one of my favorite rappers. But then they don't answer their phone. And then when they see you again, it's like they seen the ghost. Hey, man, take my number, man. I know we supposed to do something. It's cool. You offered the verse. I didn't ask you for the verse. You know what I mean? So it's cool, man. People promise you all kind of shit in this industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't deliver. But I'm a solo artist. So I gotta depend on me. Everything everybody told me not to do worked for me. So whether a person keep their word about rapping or singing on a song, it's not gonna stop me from getting where I need to go. Cause I'm gonna go put the work in, and I put the work in already.
Yeah, you also mentioned that, you helped a lot of rappers, and once they got on, they went Hollywood on you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's one that went super Hollywood, man. I'm like, damn, bro, you really changed like that, bro. But like I say, man, I was prepared for it, man. I don't be surprised by nothing I see no more in this. So I just take that this face value, man. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, that money shows your true character, man.
Yep, and I'm gonna be the same whether I got it or I don't got it. It don't make me.
Real talk. How you feel about the people that say the Houston rap scene fell off? From your point of view, what happened?
I can't speak on what happened with anybody else's life. I kept doing music.
No, in general.
No, but
the Houston music scene.
No, but what I'm saying, I can't speak on what happened, meaning like I don't know what other people was doing in their life, or whether you want to say the momentum to slow down or whatever. Everybody got their own different situations. Some people left labels. Some people, did tech stuff. Everybody had different reasons for why they did what they did, but
Lil Flip exposed the brutal truth about what happens when you try to keep your integrity in a system built on lies. From his own experience, he said straight up, 99% of people in the industry are fake. They talk big, make wild promises, and act like they've got your back. Until you stop playing by their rules. Then the mask comes off and the real game begins. These gatekeepers don't build real relationships. Everything's a setup. Every handshake is a test. Every favor has a price, and every opportunity comes with strings so tight they could choke you. And the moment an artist stands firm and says, "I'm not selling out," the punishment kicks in fast. Suddenly there's no radio play, no label calls, no interviews, nothing. It's like they hit a switch and make you vanish. Their goal isn't just to block your success, it's to erase you completely from the spotlight.
Twice a year, whatever. But if it's not $1 million budget being spent on marketing and radio and ads and posters and, brainwashing you to know, hey, this album is out, here's a billboard over here, then it's gonna look like you're not doing nothing. But like I say, success is subjective, you know what I mean? So we still working, you know what I'm saying? Paul's still touring. I just did a show with him. He brought me out as a special guest. He got a deal with Paul, my son. He's liquor deals and shit like that. Chameleonaire doing the tech. Slim still living great, doing shows. Rose still living great. I'm doing shows, making albums. Key got a podcast, Legend Talk, you know what I'm saying? He's still great, doing shows. Everybody elevating. Young Star, you know what I mean? I brought him out to Carbach on 713 Day. Like, we still out here working, holding it down, for Big Pokey, for all the legends. So we just still working, man. It's just not millions of dollars being spent on marketing no more. We back independent. So, we got our core fan base and they go book us and with us regardless.
So here's where things take a wild turn. The industry's plan to silence the truth isn't working anymore. The very artists they tried to bury are out here thriving, making real money, growing loyal fan bases, and building entire movements without anyone's approval. They're proving that independence isn't a struggle, it's power. These artists don't have massive marketing budgets or flashy PR machines. But guess what? Their music still hits, their message still connects, their energy still pulls in real supporters who actually care. While the big labels are busy pushing artists who've compromised everything for fame, the independents are out here creating real legacies, slow, steady, and unshakable. The industry wanted to erase them, but now they're rewriting the rules. And that brings up the ultimate question. If you can make it without selling your soul, why do so many still walk the dark road? The answer's simple but deep. The ones who stay true have found something way stronger than money or clout. They've discovered what real success feels like. The kind that doesn't cost your humanity.
I feel like I get the respect from the people who matters most to me. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes with aligning yourself with certain people. And if this person is managing you, they'll get you these kind of looks and this will make you look like you're bigger than somebody else. You know what I mean? Because your manager is getting you these kind of looks. But at the end of the day, success is, subjective. Nobody sees what happens with my life every day behind the scenes. Some people are brainwashed to, hey, if you ain't on the radio like you used to be or on TV like you used to be, you fell off. That's the average mind. But then people that understand and overstand and cloverstand business, they'll get what success means. Like, so for me, man, I'm always out and about. running into people, taking pictures with fans, signing autographs, people. I just left talking. What was the unit? The old Ramsey unit? Stringfellow, now it's what they call it. We just left Stringfellow unit, talking to the prisoners. I performed. Shout out to Mike Prince, you know what I'm saying? Rapper Love Mob Ties, that's fam. So yeah, we just went to talk to the prisoners, and man, we made their day. We performed, man. They still believe in God. Some of them performed. I seen some people that I knew that I ain't seen in 20 years. You know what I mean? So, and I got my respect from God. I got my respect from my family, respect from my hood, respect from my city, and in the world. You know, I travel, man. I be everywhere, man. So for me, the respect that I get, long as it's coming from people that really respect me, that's really all I care about. The people that are brainwashed or they're sheep and they just follow trends, you know what I mean? You know, I ain't for everybody, you know what I'm saying? So who respect me, man, listen, that's where it matters the most. So I don't think about it outside of that.
I just think, me personally, your name should come up more. But, you know, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I chose not to indulge in the weirdo shit that's going on in this industry. So when you still believe in God, man, and you ain't compromising your morals, I'm not selling my soul for no fame. I ain't doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep God in everything I do. Sometimes they try to make a path longer or harder for you, but I deal with the consumer. You know what I mean? So, and that I practice great customer service and they're very satisfied.
Lil Flip just tore down the industry's biggest lie, that being mainstream automatically means you've made it. He's calling it out for what it really is, a trap built to make artists chase fame instead of purpose. While the compromised ones run after TV slots, award shows, and radio spins, the real ones are out here building something priceless. Real relationships with real fans. The secret? Cutting out the middlemen completely. No shady execs, no fake managers, no soul-crushing deals. Independent artists are proving you don't need approval from the gatekeepers when you've got the people behind you. They move directly with their audience, hand to hand, heart to heart, building loyalty that no label can buy. But here's the catch. This path takes something rare. It takes real loyalty, real love for your supporters, and real connection built on truth, not image. It's about creating music that speaks from lived experience, not some persona cooked up in a marketing room.
Been having the same number, man, since high school. Like, I'm still dealing with the promoters and talking to them, the artists, the people I done did songs with all over this world, man. I see them. You know, I give them copies of my book, I give them game, I mentor them. And then when I bump back into them, they be like, man, we read your book, we applied what you put in your book, and I'm booking shows now. So that's who I really care about. Because a lot of people that's at the top, man, they don't care. They culture vultures. They don't care what's going on in the community like that. They just want their money. I care about my community. So that's why I make sure I'm out and about helping people, you know, looking out for people. I did a verse for a guy yesterday.
But here's what really separates the artists who last from the ones who fade fast: how they treat their fans. Real longevity comes from connection, not clout. While industry-made celebs get caught up in ego trips and lose touch with the people who built them, independent artists stay grounded, humble, and reachable. That's the secret sauce: genuine engagement and respect. These are the artists who can tour for years, even decades, because their fans don't just love the music, they respect the person behind it. Their careers aren't built on hype or viral moments, they're built on trust, community, and authenticity. But here's the twist: if this independent route works so well, why don't we hear more about it? The reason is darker than you think. The industry doesn't just ignore these success stories, it buries them. It's not by accident either. It's strategy. The system deliberately pushes destructive messages and chaotic artists to the front while silencing those spreading positivity and independence. It's not random, it's social engineering.
These dudes ain't never been to jail. You ain't got to worry about, oh, we might sign him and he might go to jail and we can't even put no music out. These dudes ain't never been in no shootouts or nothing like that. Why would the industry not want more of that? Think about it. Think about it.
You right, man. That's a real talk, yo.
Come on, man. You mean to tell me you not a headache? And you still gonna make buku bread for us and for yourself and just like everything is all good, like people entertained by you, they love you, da-da-da. You mean to tell me they wouldn't be like, man, we need more of that? But come on, bro. Come on, bro. Every year, they're like, yo, who is the new street rapper that need to get signed and get pushed out there? Not in one city, but in every major city. Every year, it's like, man, who is the new street rapper that we could sign that's gonna impact the masses in their city, and we gonna blow them up, and they young, so they don't realize that they being used right now, you heard me?
Think about it for a second. Who really gets the big media push? It's always the artists glorifying violence, bragging about destruction, or turning pain into entertainment. The ones who degrade women, promote substance-heavy lifestyles, and worship material things, they get the spotlight. Meanwhile, the artists with real messages, the ones talking about growth, healing, family, and community, they get buried like their voices don't matter. That's no accident. This whole pattern exposes the industry's true motive: social destruction disguised as entertainment. They want young listeners to stay locked into toxic cycles that keep them distracted and lost. Positive voices threaten that agenda, so the system makes sure those artists stay hidden. Barely any radio play, weak playlisting, almost no promo, and zero coverage. Meanwhile, the ones who've sold out get endless marketing money, non-stop visibility, and every platform pushing their faces 24/7. The goal? To make people believe chaos is normal and positivity is boring or unrealistic. But here's the truth. There are conscious artists everywhere. They're not missing. They're being muted. This kind of manipulation keeps soul selling profitable while making integrity look like a losing game. And that's how the cycle keeps spinning, because most fans never get to see the other side. Lil Flip and D1 risked everything to pull back the curtain on this system, exposing how deep the corruption runs. This isn't just greed. It's evil dressed up as opportunity. It preys on desperate artists, offering fame in exchange for their principles, while silencing the ones brave enough to stand for something real. So now it's on you, knowing what you know. How many of your favorite artists do you think made that deal for fame? And more importantly, will you keep feeding a system that rewards compromise while burying authenticity? Every stream, every like, every dollar spent is a vote for the kind of music world you want to exist. So think carefully before you press play. Support artists who stand for truth, not just those flashing luxury and lies. What's your take? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about it. And if you're here for the real stories that expose what's really happening behind the curtain, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Until next time, stay sharp and keep it real.